back to another edition to FanGirl Reviews. So today we are going to review a new TV show that just came out called Fright Krewe. And you guys may have seen me actually review the trailer not too long ago. So I've already checked out the cartoon and it's up to my usual standard of cartoons. I'm actually quite thrilled about this one because for once we've gotten a new cartoon that does not have any reference material from past other works, obviously. And I'm kind of relieved to finally see a cartoon with its own original story that does not tie in with DC Comics or other related cartoon related comics and stuff like that. So it's a bit of a relief on my part. So anyway, let's dive into it. So the cartoon is about a bunch of kids who summon, accidentally uncurse an ancient demon named Belial who wants to gain back his powers and try to, and try to conquer the New Orleans. But luckily enough, Sophia, who is a girl who's all into horror and stuff like that, tries her absolute hardest to fight against this creature. And she's not alone in this. She has a bunch of other kids who work alongside her, named Maybe, Stanley, Missy, and Pat. A bunch of little kids who are also her age, and they also get a helping hand by her ancestor who give them special powers to allow them to fight this ancient demon. Of course, she was sort of her ancestor, obviously, and she kind of vanquished this demon a long time ago, and now it's unleashed. It's up to our little group to try to find and destroy him if they can, or at least try to vanquish him, or whatever comes to mind when I think about this sort of thing. Anyway, so our group eventually encounters some other mystical creatures in New Orleans, like vampires, and monsters, and fairies in the swamps, obviously. And it's an interesting. As it starts off where the kids are like the Breakfast Club, all different members of different types of groups of school life. You have Sophia, who's the girl who's like into horror and a bit more of a freaky type. You have Pat, the nerdy boy, newbie, and you have Maybe, the class artist and a bit of a music nut, obviously. Stanley, the football player, and finally we have Missy, who's a bit of the stubborn and nasty girl who likes being popular and and is a cheerleader, obviously. And once they get their powers, they start off with not really getting along with one another, but they soon start developing chemistry and start developing friendships amongst their amongst each other, now that they're close. And as they get closer, they encounter lots of weird creatures on the way and a lot of trials and errors. Of course, all the time, the mayor, who's the mayor of New Orleans, he's kind of helping this demon so he can get. The mayor wants to get revenge on the creatures that didn't help his wife who passed on. Because his wife, during a car crash, he begged the vampires and the monsters to help him to turn her into a monster so that she could survive. Of course, this would mean exposing both creatures in the public, and that would mean the end of their peaceful society amongst the humans. So they didn't do anything, and thanks to Bella, he kind of tries to make out that there is a sort of a rivalry between the vampires and the rougarous. That's what they're called, rougarous, ancient creatures who are from I think Jamaica or Caribbean, and these were sort of like rougarous, like shapeshifter werewolves or something like that. They look like it in those illustrations a little bit. So I guess Anyway, they have a standing rivalry. They like those mafia stories you hear about where the mafias guys are not allowed to associate with one another. So they have a sort of a misunderstanding between their communities, but eventually this gets resolved eventually thanks to our group of kids who are trying to find the truth, and they eventually were able to fix things up with the rougarous and vampires, and they also try to stop the mayor and his plans of trying to destroy them. Of course, things turn on its head at one point by the 10th episode, and then we don't know what happens next after the 10th episode, because at the end Belial is still out there and he's out to probably do his next groovy story idea next. So that's all the episodes. So you guys know, this was made by Eli Roth, the guy who did Cabin in the Fever. So I think I'm glad that he worked on this cartoon, because it has his sprinkles of suggestions to the plot, even though he didn't write it or anything like that. But I love the fact that he's actually taking part in this project. The reason he wanted to do this project is he wanted to create another, not similar to Scooby-Doo, but something, that will grab audiences' attention and get kids to watch cartoons a little bit more again. I mean, I'm kind of glad that they brought this sort of thing back. Lately, I have not seen a two-dimensional cartoon, say, for ages. Except for anime, they still do the two-dimensional stuff. But aside from that, I haven't seen anything recently that has not been anything different from DreamWorks. Lately, DreamWorks is all about, the three-dimensional animations. But it's great that they came through and brought a new cartoon, especially days before Halloween, obviously, and I'm kind of glad that it's come forward. So I'm going to rate this now. I'm going to rate it 4 stars out of 5. I think it's pretty good, and I think you guys should to check it out. And I look forward to Eli coming up with a season 2. I'm really on the edge of my seat by the time of episode 10 came out, and I was so hoping that they will we'll get more of these, obviously. So you guys know it's been a while for me since I've actually seen a cartoon like this interesting come out. So I'm really relieved that they've managed to do it. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the Velma, the new Scooby-Doo one, and I'm not a big fan of the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one either, because while I would like it if they actually used new ideas, because I'm all about the new ideas, and I don't like it when they try to use the old cartoons that we've very fond of and developed a fan base, and try to revamp them and try to gain new audiences. Of course, sometimes this backfires and causes people to alienate audiences more and more when I think about it. So I'm glad this particular one does not really alienate me, and it doesn't steer me away. I just hope that audiences will also develop an interest and want Eli to start creating season 2 and season 3. And if it goes really well, maybe a season 4 if we're lucky. So that's this episode for me, guys. So I'll be sure to check it out, and I'll be sure to make sure I review some more new stuff as I go along, days before Halloween and everything. So I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you guys later on. Bye for now.